we thought the blacks would come back and do the jobs because they don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but black people have jobs, and you thought you were getting your slaves back, is basically what you were saying. That's what you thought.
I know goddamn well Trump didn't think that we finna get back in the motherfuckers. So Trump gonna get his ass on goddamn TV talking about he prematurely deported the illegals that was working in the farms, thinking that us, niggas, was gonna get back out there. Bitch, we already did that. You see where it got us, huh? We the fresh goddamn race walking. You think we finna fight them Louis Vuittons that we goddamn skipped out on our life here for? No. Get somebody else to do it. What's wrong? They running short of lettuce that they put on the big bats that you eat every goddamn day? Talk about the inner city people don't want to take the form of jobs. What the fuck you thought was gonna happen? You didn't think about this shit before you did it? Well, newsflash, Mr. Trump, we don't even want to go to the goddamn jobs that we gotta clock in for. They got AC units. We already complaining before we clock in. So by the show of hands, which one of you go out there and sign up to go work out in them hot ass fields? Yeah, that's what I thought.
These farm owner dudes were saying, well, we thought the blacks would come back and do the jobs because they don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but black people have jobs, and you thought you were getting your slaves back, is basically what you were saying.
I just seen a guy come from Twitter and said that the white farmers was upset because they thought that the black people was gonna be out there in the fields. You better get your mom, your dad, your auntie, your brother, your sister, your uncle, whoever else, because black people are not.
You're not gonna believe this. I saw that someone on Twitter was saying, the white farmers on Twitter were saying that when they had all these mass deportations, that they just automatically thought that they were gonna send the black people to work their farms. The black farmers who had already lost their farms, and just, other black people, because they needed the help and they wanted the government to send them, I guess, criminals so they can work on their farms, so they can keep their farms. Because, me keeping my farm and not caring about you and giving you low wages, that's just the American dream, right? Stop it. Y'all need to stop this. This is just totally ridiculous. Little Johnny, little Susie, all the ones that you're paying all this money because you've gotten all this government money for free, you need to go get them out of college, which is what they used to do in the olden days. Get them out of college, get them out of their little jobs, and get them working that farm on the weekend. There you go. See, I fixed it for you.
These farm owner dudes were saying, well, we thought the blacks would come back and do the jobs because they don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but black people have jobs, and you thought you were getting your slaves back, is basically what you were saying.
It's just been harder and harder and harder to find those people to work.
Bethany Gotts owns Quace Farm in Mountain Home, but now with fewer workers, a lot of the manual labor is left up to her. She tells me she's tried hiring locally, but it's been difficult to find people willing to do the hard work.
Finding a legal American here that is going to work as hard as an immigrant is nearly impossible.
She even posted job openings on Facebook.
I had 7 people contact me about it, and when I sent them the description, I had no people respond.
She says hiring undocumented workers is not an option, with serious risks for both sides.
One, you're gonna get fined. You have unfortunately, an employee living in fear. They could get picked up at any moment, and then you're without an employee.
To keep her farm running, Gotts is hiring high schoolers and is now looking into the federal H-2A visa program.
I have endeavored to spend $200,000 to build a small worker housing so that I can get H-2 workers next year.
Gotts hopes for long-term solutions that support both farmers and workers.
The misnomer that farmers exploit immigrants is just so sad to me because, like I said, my friends and neighbors, we love our workers. They're our family, and they want to work, and they will work hard, and there needs to be a path for these people in our country because our government has failed them, and it is failing, I feel.
These farm owner dudes were saying, well, we thought the blacks would come back and do the jobs because they don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but black people have jobs, and you thought you were getting your slaves back, is basically what you were saying.
I'm on the who's gonna care about Nebraska side of TikTok, or does anybody care about Nebraska? And I'm watching white people like respond to that white woman like, Nebraska didn't care about Nebraska. Who did you think was going to be in those positions of the immigrants you're losing, blah blah? And they're missing the point. Nebraskans thought that niggas was gonna go back. Like they thought they had the early 1800s back. That's what you're not seeing. It's not like they didn't think about that. No, they knew, okay, we'll lose our immigrants, but we're gonna get our slaves back. And that, my good friends, is the problem.
These farm owner dudes were saying, well, we thought the blacks would come back and do the jobs because they don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but black people have jobs, and you thought you were getting your slaves back, is basically what you were saying.
So I just saw this video of this white man who's not backed up, by the way, or at least he says he's not, but because he damn sure selling the look. But he says he has a fake account over on Twitter, and he joined this group of white farmers, and he's pretending to be MAGA just to see what they're talking about. So apparently they had this group chat or group call where the white MAGA farmers were upset and saying the only reason why they voted for Shitty Britches was because they thought the blacks didn't have jobs and the blacks would come back and work their fields. They thought they were going to get slavery back by voting for Shitty Britches. But they have been saying loud and proud with their chest that immigrants were taking their jobs. Yet, there are a couple of farms here in Texas that overnight lost 100% of their workforce. But immigrants were taking their jobs, right? Racism is expensive, huh?
These farm owner dudes were saying, well, we thought the blacks would come back and do the jobs because they don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but black people have jobs, and you thought you were getting your slaves back, is basically what you were saying.
We parented our